Daggum people! Well, Mr. McCain died. I should be sad. Maybe a little part of me sad. I was going to put the flag at half-mast and I figured, what the hell. Let's talk about Mr. McCain. Damn it, I left my damn phone in there, so I'm probably going to miss a couple of my points. I had a couple of points that I wanted to cover. I had a great shot. I'll try to slide it in here of the moon going down this morning with my boys eating over there with the flag. It was a great solace moment in this time of, man, I don't know how to say it. I ain't going to miss him, and I don't really care if he's dead. I thought he was doing damage. Look, I know everybody's like, there's this unwritten rule that you can't talk about the dead. You never say anybody bad about the... Look, bad people die. Sorry, I hate to break it to you. Nobody wants to say good things about some child rapist that's, you know, being killed by the government in prison. Nobody wants to get up there and say what a great guy he was. John McCain, he was the enemy. I'm sorry. He was the enemy of freedom. He was known, I hear all the left. Look, you can tell who a man is by who his friends are and who his enemies are. McCain hated Trump. He hated him. Hated for what he stood for. Wasn't an established. He wasn't reached across the aisle. He wasn't one of the boys. He wasn't the in crowd to where they owed each other and there was money training. He didn't need their money. Trump has his money. McCain hated Trump. You can tell a man by who his enemies are and who his friends are. The left loves McCain. They thought he was a good guy for reaching across the aisle. You know what? I call that traitors and treason. If you're going to work with the enemy, you're a traitor. I'm sorry. If you worked with the redcoats when we were trying to get our freedom, tough luck. Okay? Sons of Liberty, Minutemen, 3%ers, live free or die. You either join us or you're out. So, and when you're fighting an enemy, if you don't have that mindset, you lose. And I mean, the war on America values, our history, where we came from, tearing down statues, calling everybody a racist because generations ago might have owned a slave. Very small percentage might have owned a slave. John McCain was bombing innocent people, flying bombing runs in Hanoi, and killing people when he was shot down and taken prisoner. Nobody wants to talk about that. The left doesn't want to talk, the media doesn't want to talk about that because he's friends with them. And they like him because he, McCain, was the deciding vote to repeal Obamacare, and he was a no. Had he voted yes, Obamacare would have been repealed. So every time Obamacare bites your tax dollars and takes your money and bites you in the butt in your paycheck, you need to smile and think what a great American Mr. McCain was. Rick, you can't be trashing the guy. He's dead. He was a hero. Look, he was a vet, and I'm all down for the brother vets. You serve your country. You got a special place in the heart for me. I was a vet. It's a club. It's an organization. But you know what? There's bad people. There's good people. There's idiots and there's smart people. There's traitors and there's freedom fighters and there's patriots who believe in what this country stands for. And McCain was not one of them. He might have been one earlier, but he spent 35 years. Government takes from people, and then they spend it the way they want, and they give a little back. I mean, it's just amazing how people on income tax season, freaking gnats piss me off. On income tax season, people are like, oh man, I'm getting $1,000. The government's giving me $1,000 back. They stole your money all year. And they're giving you, they stole more than they can justify keeping, so they have to give. Government isn't doing you a favor by giving you a tax return. Okay? McCain wasn't doing you a favor by voting no on repealing that crappy BS legislation on Obamacare that let government get its fingers into medical. Remember, government always wants to control things that people need. That's their mission, because when you control things people need, you control the people. Okay? People need to drive to get to work to make a living. Government wants their fingers in that through taxes, highways fund, gas taxes, registration, requiring driver's license, registering cars, safety checks, smog checks, raising the fees on car. Government wants their fingers in things that you need. Government wants their fingers in medical. Every communist country controls medical. And somehow, the left liberals and John McCain thinks it's a good idea for America to give our medical care to the freaking incompetent government. He spent 35 years in government. He doesn't even know what it's like not to be a congressman. 35 years. He got out of the military and went straight over.
Hey, gun people, I got to slide this in this video. I was out there talking to Flagpole about McCain, and there was a couple things I missed and I wanted to bring up. So I'll try to find some spot and I'll slide this in. One of the things I wanted to remind people about Mr. McCain was he divorced his wife after she was in a car wreck and in a wheelchair. And later, of course, he said, you know, in his typical political, I made mistakes, I blah, 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 he said that was his biggest failure. And then another time he mentioned that he had to meet with a couple people in the banking industry. And he said, to be honest, that was harder than being a prisoner of war. So he also signed a confession as a prisoner of war that he was a war criminal. And those three things I wanted to bring up in a video. And then there was a couple other comments that were made about him dying on my other video. So after the news came out that he died, some of the people were saying, off topic, McCain is dead, finally, hallelujah. I said, good riddance, best fertilizer to the country, don't be hasty, let's give it a week, make sure he's still dead. You know, could be a publicity stunt. You never know with these politicians. Don't worry, he'll still vote Democrat. Very good point. A lot of people that die continue to vote Democrat. Amazing. Let's see. True. I hate to piss on the wrong grave. Look, I think conservative and patriots aren't going to miss this guy. He is as I said in this video, the enemy. No joke. Who cares? Man, this guy doesn't like him. But Songbird. Damn, Rick. I've seen a comment. Funny. Nothing more or less. Tyrant. He still served. A lot of guys think like David here. He served his country and therefore we should have blind loyalty. Look, I don't believe that. I don't believe if you saved a child from a burning building and then for the rest of your life or the last 50 or 35 years of your life, you did nothing but fight against freedom and conservative values and you badmouth the country that supposedly you fought for and you sided with the liberal left. I don't believe that we should remember that, oh, well, he saved a kid when, he was 14. That's not me. Everybody's entitled to his opinion. A couple people got kind of hard on this guy, but, I mean, I'm not going to hate you if you want to show respect or not talk about the guy. But if you think he's a great guy and you want to share a foxhole with him, then you know what? I'm going to be shooting at you. So that's just how that is. Let's see here. Yeah, he gets sick. This is a good point. He gets sick, and instead of going home, he still wants to hang in politics and attack Trump. That should tell you what kind of guy he is. I mean, being in that power position for 35 years was his life. And even when he's dying, instead of spending his last dying days, doing what he wants, he couldn't give it up. I've got to stay in the limelight. I've got to feel that I'm so important. I've got to show everybody how right I am. And the freaking left just loves him. And again, as I say in this video, you can tell his man by who likes him and who's his enemies. So anyway, this guy puts quite a bit of stuff. If you want to pause it and read his comments on Mr. McCain. Let's see, go back here. And then. So I'll just add this in this video and now I'll get back to the video.
But Rick, he was a prisoner of war, and he was a war hero. I'm hearing all this war hero stuff. He wasn't a war hero when he was going against the left. When he first came into politics, and he was an American, and he was fighting for conservative values, and he was fighting against government spending, and he was fighting against the left and their idiot ideas. He wasn't a war hero then. He was a warmonger. He was a Vietnam guy. He was the one that hated Jim Kerry, or what's Kerry's name? The freaking idiot that threw his medals, whatever, ran Secretary of State. John Kerry, I think. He was a war hero. He's the enemy of the freedom. He's the enemy of the state, of my state, of the United States, that was founded under a constitution to be free, where the people had the power. Kerry's an enemy. The left is the enemy. I mean, I don't understand how you people don't understand that we're in a war. I have watched this war develop in my entire life. I've watched it grow and grow year by year. And, you know, I'm in my 50s, almost 60, so I'm telling you, I've got a little experience watching this country go down the drain. I went to a garage sale the other day, and there was a guy out there with a Vietnam flag, had a Vietnam hat on. He was selling things. I was going to buy something from him because he was a vet. He was selling some things. I was like, oh, shit, there's a couple benches I could use. I could sit out here, maybe buy a couple things he had I was going to buy. He comes out there and starts bashing Trump, then starts bashing Bush because Bush signed something about he couldn't qualify. Him and his wife both work for the government, and his wife's a teacher, liberal left. And because Bush signed some law that he's not eligible for some benefit, that's why he's not a Republican, and he hates Republicans, and he'll never vote for a Republican, and he don't like Trump. And I'm just like, dude, I didn't say it, but I'm thinking, I was going to give you some money because you're having a garage sale. You ain't getting a penny of mine, because he's the enemy. But Rick, he was a vet, and he was in Vietnam. I don't give a shit. Look, if you go against freedom, if you fight against the American way, Patriots, you're the enemy. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. You people need to pick a side. This sitting on the fence, this liberal logic of holding hands and hugging and singing Kumbaya and reaching across the aisle and being friends with your enemy, that shit gets you killed in war. You cannot be shaking hands with a guy trying to kill you. The left is trying to kill anyone that disagrees with them. If you're a patriot, if you're a freedom, if you believe in Second Amendment rights, if you believe in free speech, I mean, you can't say it. The left and the media has taken over this country, and now, because McCain dies and because he worked with the enemy, suddenly he's a war hero, and we should be sad, and we should miss him. Good freaking riddance. 35 years, and I wish everybody who had over 30 years, even 20 years in Congress, would be gone. Rick, you can't say that. I'm just saying be gone. I didn't say die or kill. I'm not promoting violence. You don't need to be in Congress that long. I'm sorry. That's the problem with our politics, is we don't hold them accountable. You get in and you stay in. You get in the area and you get your people and you kind of take care of your area, even at the cost of the country. And you know what? You get reelected and you stay in for life. Then you get all these special benefits and you get all these special medical, and you get to exempt yourself from the laws that you create and write on the people. And I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. If you're exempting yourself and you're up there, you're the enemy. And you know what? In a war, I'm telling you people, you don't want to be my enemy. You may think I'm a nice guy. A lot of people think I'm an asshole. But even an asshole, if you think I'm an asshole, you don't want to be my enemy in a war. Because I'm telling you, I'm coming at you. I am a warrior. I enjoy the chase and the catch of predators and the enemy. I've done it my whole life. I just, when I was working cases on bad guys and they were getting away and doing bad stuff, man, I woke up in the morning putting my gun on and getting ready to go out and chase and catch them, and I enjoyed it. So, you know what? I was in the military. Most guys in the military, we don't really hope for war because we know war is bad and it's usually political, and a lot of innocent people and good people die, and a lot of your buddies die. So most guys who are in the military don't necessarily hope for war, but you know what? If it comes, booyah. You know what? Embrace it. I will embrace a war with the enemy who is destroying this country, what I believe in, or me and my freedoms, or me and mine. You know, I'm sorry. I eat meat. I'm a man. I like women. I like women. Okay? Somehow that has become the enemy now, and it's bad, and we shouldn't embrace that. And people like me are those evil, straight males who did nothing for the world but make the greatest inventions that prospered and made the entire world live a better life. No, Rick. We got to tear down a statue of a guy on a horse because he wore a flag that we think is associated with the mean white country that was developed freedom. We are at war, people, and you know what? You can either be collateral damage or you can get in war and you can prepare, because when it starts, there ain't going to be no standing on the sidelines. I mean, it is what it is. Let freedom ring. I mean, damn American flag, I hardly ever fly it anymore, because I mean, this is just not the America that I know, and I'm not gonna be loyal to a country that hates what I stand for, what the country stood for, and what the country was founded on. But you know what? I tell you people to prepare all the time. And you people that think the Second Amendment and owning a gun isn't important, had they got our guns 40 years ago, we would be Venezuela right now. Because as soon as the government gets our guns, if you think we have a hard time controlling government and getting things done now, wait till they know they have an unarmed public that can't fight back. Now, if people, oh, they're not scared of us, they could wipe it. I'm telling you, 21 million veterans out there. It only takes 3% of us to outnumber our standing military. That's if the entire military fights against us. But you know what? Hey, what do I know? Just some crazy guy in Texas who likes guns. All right, we'll end that there on toasting off John McCain. Have a nice flight.